Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we're cracking open a book that has truly sparked a different kind of conversation about happiness and success. Mark Manson's The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Feck. Our mission in this deep dive is really to distill the core insights from his work, maybe challenge some of our conventional ideas, and explore how, you know, embracing struggle might actually be the most direct path to focusing on what truly matters to you.
It's a fascinating shift, isn't it? Really flips the script.
Totally.
Instead of the usual self-help stuff pushing constant positivity, Manson invites us to, well, deeply reconsider what we truly value and, maybe more importantly, where we choose to invest our emotional energy. It offers a fresh, almost counterintuitive perspective on a really common human challenge.
So let's unpack this core premise. It's kind of jarring at first. Manson lays out that instead of constantly striving for positivity, we should lean into pain, acknowledge our limits, maybe even embrace failure. He asserts that that's actually where real growth begins. What's your initial take on that? It's pretty bold.
It is bold, jarring, like you said, but also I find it incredibly liberating, you know?
Liberating. How so?
Because it directly contradicts so much of what we're often taught. When you really connect this idea to, well, to our lives, it fundamentally challenges the narrative that struggle is inherently bad.
Right.
Manson isn't saying don't care about anything. He's saying true freedom comes from selectively giving a feck about the right things. The real puzzle for us then becomes, okay, how do we identify those right things?
Exactly. That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Yeah. So if that core idea that embracing discomfort is where growth starts seems a bit daunting.
Which it can be.
Yeah, Manson doesn't just leave us hanging. He then provides five, I think, incredibly practical frameworks for how to actually put this counterintuitive wisdom into action. Let's dive into the first one. It really sets the tone. So the first principle he unpacks is choose your struggles. He famously puts it, you can't avoid problems. You just choose which ones are worth suffering for. So it's not about becoming problem-free, but about intentionally picking your battles.
Yeah, and this concept is incredibly empowering. It's all about taking charge, really. It completely shifts us out of that, like, victim mentality about problems.
Oh, definitely.
And puts us into a more proactive approach. You get to actively select the challenges that truly align with your deepest values. It transforms struggle from something you just endure to something meaningful, something chosen.
Right. It's like maybe instead of just being mad about the traffic every day,
Yeah,
you choose a different struggle, like figuring out public transport or listening to something useful. It's still a problem, maybe, but you've chosen how you engage with it.
exactly. You've taken agency.
Okay, so the next lesson is one that might sting a little,
Yeah.
but it's vital. You are not special.
Ah, that one, yeah.
This directly challenges the idea that we're all unique snowflakes, destined for greatness without putting in the work. He says entitlement blocks growth. Humility creates clarity. I mean, this really flies in the face of a lot of modern self-affirmation stuff. Is Manson being too harsh here, or is this like a necessary dose of reality?
Well, I lean towards necessary dose of reality.
Okay.
Look, Manson isn't saying you're worthless. Not at all. He's suggesting that the belief that you're constantly special or inherently different can actually be a major barrier.
A barrier how?
Because true growth, he implies, often comes not from some unique destiny, but from the messy, often humbling process of trial and error, the same process everyone goes through. So embracing a bit of humility can actually open doors. It helps you learn, gain genuine self-awareness, because it allows you to see yourself more accurately,
Yeah.
in relation to others and your actual challenges.
That makes so much sense, especially today with social media where everyone's curating their best life.
Right.
It just cuts through that noise, reminds us that the grind, the sort of daily, ordinary effort, that's often where real distinction is forged.
Precisely.
And building on that idea of like accepting limitations, Manson then addresses something I think most of us fall into without even realizing it. He calls it the feedback loop from hell. Can you describe this cycle for our listener?
Absolutely. Think about it. Have you ever felt bad about feeling bad?
Oh, yeah. Guilty about feeling sad or anxious about feeling anxious. All the time.
That's it. That's the loop he's describing. We get anxious, and then we get anxious about being anxious. Or we feel guilty, and then we feel guilty for feeling guilty. Manson's insight, which is so simple but powerful, is that by simply acknowledging and accepting an emotion, even if it's unpleasant, you stop that destructive cycle.
You break the loop.
You break the loop. You prevent yourself from getting stuck, compounding the negativity. It's about just letting the emotion be. without layering judgment on top of it.
It's so relatable. I know I've definitely done that. It's such a powerful mental trap.
It really is.
And speaking of traps, Manson also makes this critical distinction that can really shift your perspective on setbacks.
Okay.
It's that responsibility does not equal fault. He makes it really clear. Even if something isn't your fault, it's your responsibility to handle it. This is about empowerment, he says, not about blame.
It truly is about empowerment. When we connect this to the bigger picture,
Hmm.
it means that while we may not control every event that happens to us, we always control our response. We control our willingness to address the consequences.
Right.
It encourages taking ownership of your life, your situation, regardless of where the technical blame lies.
Hmm.
It's the difference between saying, this happened to me, and asking, okay, how do I move forward from this?
That's a huge mindset shift right there.
Yeah,
Huge.
it's massive.
And finally, the fifth lesson. This ties directly into how we allocate that precious giving energy we talked about earlier.
Huh?
Lesson 5 is say no more often.
Ah, boundaries.
Yes, exactly. This lesson is all about setting smart boundaries. Manson reminds us pretty bluntly, your time and energy are limited. Every yes is a no to something else.
And what really stands out here is that direct link he makes between our finite resources, time, energy, attention, and our ability to actually focus on what truly matters.
Yeah.
Prioritizing means making deliberate choices. And often, those choices absolutely necessitate saying no to things that don't align with your chosen struggles or your core values. It's about being intentional.
It's tough, though, isn't it? I mean, who hasn't said yes to something out of politeness or obligation
Well, absolutely.
and then spent the next 3 hours or days regretting it?
It feels like Manson is kind of giving us permission to actually prioritize ourselves without feeling guilty about it.
That's a good way to put it. Permission to be selective.
So whether you're navigating, I don't know, complex projects at work or just trying to manage daily life, the book's overarching message really ties all these lessons together beautifully. The key isn't to be endlessly positive or to somehow avoid all discomfort. Exactly. The core insight, the ultimate takeaway, is to channel your energy, your attention, your thurex toward what genuinely counts for you.
Hmm.
It encourages you to basically stop trying to do it all and instead start doing what truly matters. This whole perspective helps you filter out the noise, commit to the things that genuinely contribute to your growth and well-being, and ultimately find a perhaps deeper sense of purpose in it all.
Yeah, this deep dive into Mark Manson's work, it really does challenge us, doesn't it? Makes you reevaluate maybe your definitions of happiness and success. It's not about being indifferent, like some people might think from the title.
Not at all.
It's about a very deliberate, very conscious choice of where to invest your most valuable resource, your attention, your care, your fix.
Which brings us to a good final thought, maybe for you listening. If true freedom, as Manson suggests, comes from selectively caring, what is one thing, just one thing, you might choose to stop giving a feck about this week? To make a little more room for what genuinely matters to you, something to think about.